Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Teresa Crawley at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. Today I'm going to be showing you a brand new 2025 Newmar Dutch Star. This is a really cool floor plan with bunk beds and 2 full bathrooms. It's the 4340. I'll let you take a look around while I give you just a few specs. We've got lots of sleeping in here. At least 6 people can comfortably sleep in this motorhome. As I said, we have 2 full bathrooms that we'll get to in a little bit. 450 horsepower, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque on an 8.9 liter Cummins engine. We have a steerable tag axle here and 15,000 pounds of towing capacity. The layout of this coach and the coloring that was chosen makes it look so huge in here. I can't believe that they fit so much into such a, 43 and 10-inch long coach. It's really amazing. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. First thing you'll notice is that we have this 2-tone cabinetry going on. That is a newer offering from Newmar. So the white on top and more of the beige on the bottom. This is a matte finish. There are other choices, but I think that this one in particular makes this space look much larger and much more airy. That with the porcelain tile floor really sets it off. This is a good looking coach. In this front living area where you're probably going to be spending a lot of time in the evenings and things like that. We of course have both of these seats turn around as they do in every diesel pusher. We do have an added flat screen TV up there, and then the opposing TV on a televator is what they call that. That's essentially a lift. It can be put away when not in use, and I'll do that right now so you can get a look at what it looks like with just the window showing. We have a really cozy, I don't think this is quite a love seat, but a little wider seat here. 2 people can snuggle on pretty good there. And then across from here, we have a full-size sofa. This is a standard sleeper sofa like you would have in a home with a pull-out mattress. 2 full-size adults can easily sleep on this because you actually will sleep this way on this mattress. So it'll fold out and you'll be able to walk through this space quite easily when that mattress is pulled out. So again, 2 adults can sleep here easily. We do have windows that open on this coach, and those are on both sides. In the kitchen, in this whole living area. So really nice if you want to get some ventilation in here, but also they're so big you can get some good light in here as well. We do have storage above here, and you'll notice the really nice quality hinges that Newmar puts on these. This is solid maple wood. Really nice. And then back here, these are all going to be carpeted with kind of a thick feltish carpeting. That's going to help to keep things from shifting when you're moving around. It's going to keep the noise down, the vibration for your possessions from breaking and things like that. We also have MCD roller shades throughout. So we have day shade, and that's just going to help block some of the heat and some of the light coming in. It also gives you a little privacy if you're somewhere where people can see in. And then of course we have the full darkening shades all the way around the coach as well. These are also in the cab area. So every window you see is going to have one of those. Really nice. All right, continuing over to the booth dinette, we of course have more storage. I'll just let you take a quick peek at that. And then of course we have the rounded corner booth. We do have 2 fold up stowaway chairs under the bed we'll get to in a little bit, but those would be set here for extra people to be able to eat. And then this table pulls out, and there are 2 leaves that can be added there, so you really can have quite a large eating arrangement. You'll notice this tabletop, as well as all the counters throughout, are made of a solid surface material. I love this because if it scratches, you can always buff it out. And it's also just very durable and very classy looking. Now under both of these seats, there is some storage. And it took me a little bit of a pull to get that. But both sides have that there. And I have to say, even though it did take me a little bit more effort to pull this out, I'd rather that than it being loose. because when you're turning a sharp corner, you don't want those flying out on you, right? All right, in the kitchen area, this is new, Whirlpool convection microwave oven. The other thing about this is it has an air frying function in there. So you'll see this is different than it has been any year before. It has these baskets that you can air fry with. You can still bake in here like you could before. It just looks very different this year because of that air frying function. But I'm really glad they added that, so it's one less appliance you have to bring along. Got a great place for spices up above there. Whoops. And then a really nice deep countertop here. This, of course, is going to be your induction cooktop. This is an all-electric coach, no propane whatsoever on board. So they do these really cool induction cooktops that you can actually take outside. So if you wanted to cook outside, this is going to be an option for you. And then you set that right back in. On the opposite side of the covers, we have cutting boards on both of these. So a double functionality there. Newmar is the only brand I know of that does this. I just think it's really very, very smart. Because of course, every space in a motorhome is at a premium, but particularly your kitchen space. So here we have a great drawer if you wanted to put utensils and things like that. Right now we have all your remotes, touch-up paint, etc. in here. Don't get overwhelmed. Some of these are redundant, and we'll also teach you how to use all of the electronics in here. On the note of the electronics, we had Starlink added to this unit already. So that's going to serve as your internet, as well as you can do all of your streaming services and entertainment through that as well. So having that on board, it's a lot more modern way than using the satellite dishes we used to use in the past. Those would kind of be out of date within, I'd say, 5 years, and a lot of times need to be replaced because the technology just kept upgrading and upgrading. But now that we're doing most of our entertainment via streaming, the Starlink just makes all the sense in the world, and it works everywhere. So we're big fans of it, and this has it already installed. Down here we have a really great dishwasher in a drawer. Very, very good for conserving water. Also great for storage if you are not interested in washing your dishes at the time. You also can put some of your bigger pots and pans in there. Then we have some drawers going down here. These are, of course, soft close and really well made. So one more here. Let me get that out of the way. This here is where your heat would come out. There are those scattered throughout the coach. Your heat in this coach is provided by your Oasis hydronic heating system. So it's going to be your hot water heater as well as your furnace for the coach. You also are going to have heat pumps throughout. You have 3 air conditioning units on this coach, and they're ducted, so you're not getting the direct noise from them. They're going to be piped down, so you're not, again, getting that noise, but they're going to be spread really well throughout. The crazy thing that Newmar does is you don't see those plastic vents all over the ceiling. They're actually hidden behind these beautiful facades here. So it gives a lot more residential look to this coach, so it doesn't feel like you're camping, you're in a motorhome or whatever. This is just a really clean, nice way that they do it. So I appreciate that they add those extra touches that make this more homey. We got a little bit more storage here, above here as well. And this one has a pull out so that you can actually reach the back of whatever you have back here. Right now we have all your manuals in this little bag here. And that, of course, is going to come with your coach. Oops. There we go. A little bit more storage here and here. And then we have some great pullouts under here if you want to keep your dishwashing soap or things like that. Also a little trash can that's already fitted in here, and you could fit another one for recycling back there as well. There's also a little place back there that has that felted carpet that's fitted specifically for your sink covers. So if you don't want to keep putting them back here or in the way, you can actually tuck those away there, and that keeps them from rattling when going down the road. Some people want to put them back on every time. Some people don't want to deal with them at all. So I appreciate that they gave you the option. Then here we have this really nice apron sink, a little sprayer here, and of course a divider in here so you can do wash and rinse. Newmar custom cuts this solid surface at the factory to make sure that it is a perfect fit. They don't outsource very many things at Newmar. They do a lot of it themselves. 60% of their workforce is Amish or Mennonite. And for those of you who don't know, those people really know how to build things. They are wonderful at carpentry and engineering and making things that last. So that's one of the reasons that Newmar has such a great reputation, because of the strong build quality. Over here we have a pantry for you. These are adjustable drawers, so they can be moved to whatever height you'd like. They're full extension, so you can get all the way to the back of them. And you'll also notice that a light came on when I opened this door, so it helps you be able to find what you're looking for. Then they lock into place when they're not in use. Really great that it does that, so you don't just have to depend on whether or not this door got closed correctly. You're gonna not have things flying out when you're turning corners, which I appreciate very, very much. All right, a huge storage place up here, goes all the way back. I can't reach it, but I'm sure you can use your imagination. It's pretty big. And then of course we have your refrigerator freezer. We do have water in the door. It does have a water filter housed back there. It's right here right now, but we also have a whole house water filter for the coach. So you'll see that when we get outside. So we're gonna have a double water filtration here. Freezers down here with your ice maker here. Good amount of space. And then Newmar does this integrated lock here, which I think is really great when you're traveling. This isn't going to fly open if you put your lock in place. Really, really great to not have to worry about your milk flying out, which I've heard stories of. Milk and pickles all over the floor. Now you'll see we've got these pocket doors scattered throughout. There's one here, there's one at the bedroom, and there's one at the bathroom. These are just great for privacy, but they didn't skimp on making it look beautiful. This goes all the way across and then it locks into place. So when we need to cut our areas off, this hall area is the bunk room and a bathroom. So you can see why you'd want some privacy in this area. Maybe the kids need to get dressed or something like that. So really great doors. This, of course, is going to be your bunk beds. And I love how this was done. So for those of you who don't have kids traveling all the time, you can actually stow this away. I'll show you kind of the gist of how this works. This is great for grandparents or, again, just people that have guests sometimes, but not all the time. So the basics is that this folds up. There's a lock over here, and you would obviously lock that away to get this to be your hanging wardrobe. So it's convertible, which I think is just so clever. Some of us have kids that are a little bit older. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. But once they're fully out of the house, this is going to not be useful to me unless I have this great wardrobe. So I think it's so clever that they made it convertible so that it can stand the test of time for the different seasons of our lives. We also have, of course, lights in here, outlets. We also have TVs at both bunks and lots of plug-in space. There's a ladder that I put down there so that I could show you the top, but it just hooks on right here. And then we also have drawers down below here. So a little bit of storage for whomever is using the bunk beds. And there's 3 of those across. And then we can just stow this away. As I said, the kids actually have a full bathroom here. So we've got a shower Really nice sunroof in there. And then of course, toilet and storage. I'll get in there and open some of this for you. And you have to look back in these Newmars because there's even more storage that you can't see, you can reach. And then a little one here and another one here. Up here isn't really a storage space. This is really for your fuse box. There is a little bit of space here, but just so you know, this is mostly taken up with electronics. And then we do have a medicine cabinet here as well. And I'm not pointing out all of your 110s, but they are scattered in a lot of places. There's even one right here that you can't see. There was one in the cabinet, one here, and a lot of times we have them even underneath. This particular one doesn't have one, but right here you have an additional one. So don't worry about not having enough in this coach. They really are absolutely everywhere. Down here we have your central vacuum. We have a kick plate here, so if you wanted to sweep, you can actually just put it here. Then it will suck that away and take the debris down to the vacuum bag in the basement, which we'll see when we go outside. You also can use it more as a traditional vacuum where you put the hose in there. And again, it takes it away to that basement area. Up here is one of the coolest things that Newmar has done recently. This great touchscreen panel can handle or give you access to a lot of things here. Our battery, how are we doing on our batteries? Not great on the house right now, probably because I have every single light on, but also tell you what's going on with your tanks. You can turn all the lights on or off from this first panel, or if you want to go into a more specific one, you can stool room, let's turn those cosmetic accent and ceiling lights off, or we can just come in the coach and do all lights on, all lights off. So that's a really great function to have that there. We also have automatic gen start, and that can be set for certain times of day, for when your battery gets low, things like that, when you want your air conditioner to be able to come on if you're leaving the coach. So nice to have the ability to tell it what to do even when you're not here. We have some exhaust fans in here, one in the kitchen, so if you're gonna burn your food, that's there. We've got one in the stool room, which is this first bathroom, and then we have one in that back bathroom as well. Here we have your HVAC system, so it's 3 zones. Again, we have 3 air conditioning units. Those 3 air conditioners have heat pumps integrated in them, and you can change all of these different areas to your liking. We also have, let's see, shoot, it's not wanting to cooperate. I'm doing something wrong, I'm sure. But we also have heat that would be from that Oasis hydronic heating system. I think that's it there. And then we have your lights again, as we were showing you before. So really great system to have here. You can also turn your water pump on, autofill here as well. So moving into the master bedroom, we have another one of those pocket doors right here. Then we have some hanging shirt closets over on the side here. Notice there is a light in there. Now, I'm only going to show you one side because it is exactly replicated over there, but we have 6 of these drawers. Oh, this one's actually your audio-visual cabinet, so forgive me for that. We have 5 drawers. This one is where you would want to hook up if you had like a cable box or something like that. But again, 5 of these, they're all the same size. We do have an emergency exit window here. It is openable, so I would probably just use that for fresh air since this coach is equipped with an emergency exit door as well. It's a lot easier to get out of the door than it is out of the window. Of course, another flat screen TV. That's totaling 5 right now, but when we get outside, we're going to see there are 6 on this coach. Another hanging shirt closet. And then over here, we have an actual king-size bed. This is like you would find in a house. It's not an RV king. It's an actual king. And then above here, again, we have that carpeting, some storage back here, and Newmar does a great port through here. So the access is here. If you happen to have any tubing for a CPAP or cords that needed to come through, you can actually pass it through this already cut out section. There's also 110 outlets tucked away back there you can't really see right now. And then above here, when it's time for bed, you can hit your all lights off button, and that will turn off all the lights in the house. You can do it individually, and the outside lights as well. So if you forgot to do your safety lights or something like that, that's all right here on a really easy touch screen button. We also can check our tanks. We can turn on our exhaust fans. We can do the TV lift that's in the living room. I think you would only want to do that if your kids were out there and you told them to go to bed and they were still watching TV. But you also have auto gen start. Your HVAC control is here, and your floor heat. That's my favorite button here, because when you're in bed and you don't want to get out and touch that cold tile floor, you're going to want to put that tile heat on. So that is also a 3-zone system. So you've got bedroom, including this back bathroom. You've got that mid area and the front area. And Newmar doesn't miss a part. So the slide out, for example, it actually is heated as well, even though there's an obvious break in the flooring, you know, where the slide has to come in and out. But it's also heated, and it's heated under the booth seating and in this back bathroom. So love that they cover all the bases. You're not walking around going, oh, it was cold there. Okay, we're in the back bathroom. You always have to give up a little bit of your back bathroom when you add bunks or extra things up in the front. But I think this is one of the coolest configurations I've seen in a situation like that. We, of course, have your toilet here. Your emergency exit door is right behind here. That can be opened and closed if you want to just throw out laundry or whatever it is that you need to get out of the back without having to go in and out of the coach. We have your washer and dryer housed right here. I love that this door opens really wide so I can actually get into those things. We have a vaulted ceiling in here just to give us a little bit more of a spacious feeling. And then we have a really great, huge medicine cabinet. So there is a 110 outlet right there, but there's also one down here a little bit hidden away. Pretty tile in here. And then we've got lots of storage. I'll just open these all up for you to take a peek. There you go. So as much as they possibly could put in this area, they did. And over here, we actually have another great hanging closet space. So these shelves can be taken out, removed completely, or adjusted. But if you need some longer items, they've made space for that. I think that's really clever that they did that. My favorite part about this bathroom is the shower, and it is deceitfully large. So I'm going to go in here so you can get a good peek at it. There's actually all of this space back here. My whole person can fit behind this door space. A great place that I could sit down or put my leg up if I needed to shave my legs or anything like that. I also have a place already built in to put shampoos and things like that up here. These are always things that are like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? Do I have to attach something to the wall? No, this has already been thought of in here. We have a really nice rain head and an adjustable sprayer place here. And then you might notice this blue light here. This is your Aqua Miser, or excuse me, your Aqua View Shower Miser. So what that does is it recirculates the water in the tank until it's warm enough, and you just tell it like that I want it like that warm. And once it gets to that, the light will come on. That means it's ready. It's warmed up for you, and then you can actually turn the water on by using this little button down here, or knob rather. Anyway, very clever, helps you save a lot more water. We do have quite a big water tank on here already, but that's just going to help it last all that much longer. All right, I'm going to pull slides in so we can see what this coach looks like in travel mode. And I will always start with this bed one back here because it's the only control that is in the back of the coach. The other ones are at the front over the driver. But they do this so that you can keep an eye on what's outside or what my slide could potentially be running into here. Like if I had a suitcase on the ground and it was getting in the way, or my dog was laying there, it would scare him. Oh, I just realized that I forgot to show you underneath the bed storage, so I'll do that really quick right here too, once this is in. So this is really nice hinged, so it's not too hard to lift it up. But there are the two folding chairs and the two leaves for the table in that dining area. You can keep them there, or if you don't think you'll need them, you can leave them at home and have a little bit more storage space. All right, let's go close up the rest of the coach. All right, we've got a really great control panel up here. Your Starlink is housed up here. And then we have a monitoring panel. This is for a satellite dish, your inverter charging information system. This is for your awning controls. And when we get outside, you're going to see the most beautiful, awesome Girard Nova awning system on here. They're just really, really nice. So we'll get to look at that soon. And we're bringing in the driver's side slide out right now. You may notice beautiful porcelain tile floor. Notice the accent lighting. Beautiful, just really well done coach. I'll start bringing in the other side. That's your cogwheel system over there. The first one there was a hydraulic slide. Both very reliable systems, or Newmar would not have put them on here. Most of our competitors or other brands use a much cheaper system that tends to jam up quite a bit, get people stuck. All right, look at this walking space. This is crazy. I can get through here so easily. Of course, it's going to narrow a little bit right here. I'm going to have to turn sideways, but you can see I can completely access my refrigerator. And get into this pantry here. Obviously, I'm thinking about food most of the time. And I can actually even get to this back bathroom area. So if I needed to go when we were closed up, I can definitely do so. The back bedroom is going to be closed up and touching. The slides will be touching on both sides of the bed. So you can use it, but you'd have to crawl over the bed there to get to the back bathroom area. Crawl up on that bed if you wanted to take a nap. So to finish this here, we just have some security lights, our block heater, exterior step can be turned on and off. We have some LED lights outside, and then individual awnings and awning lights there. All right. So for the driver and passenger, we have 6-way powered heated seats. So both of us can be quite comfortable. We also have a footrest that's electric that can come up when we have this in, when we're using it as a social seat, not your driver's seat. The passenger actually can put up their footrest while driving, but the driver cannot for obvious reasons. Real quick, I'm going to turn this on so you can see what this front dash looks like. But a very basic front end here. We have HWH, computerized hydraulic leveling. Very easy to use. We're just going to put auto level and those jacks are going to start coming down. It will tell you when it's done. It will also beep at you if they're down and you're trying to drive. So that's another great thing there. We have powered and heated side mirrors. We have the ability to dump our tag axle. It can do it automatically, but some people like to be able to control that there. Automatic traction control override, and then we have our toll window button right here. So I can open that up if I happen to need to reach out or talk to someone out there. I can do that, or hand a toll, obviously. Got cup holders here. A really great battery boost system here. So if my chassis battery was getting particularly low, I could draw from the house batteries and vice versa. It's basically jumping your batteries. Dome light, fog lights. This here is a cell phone charger. You also have one of these on the passenger side. Light controls. We have your windshield wipers here, but down here is a button that's a little bit harder to see, and that's a pedal adjustment. So that will move your pedals closer to you or further away from you. We also have the ability to move the steering wheel up and down and in and out by pushing a pedal down below. We have a phone system integrated here. And then we have this great dash control system here. Really beautiful and bright, but it can be changed to show what you're wanting to look at. So we've got right now, we've got the air pressure of our airbags showing right now, because that's going to be important when I'm getting ready to hit the road. But if I don't want to see that, I can look at other things and change that around. We also have the ability to change our steering effort here. For those of you who aren't familiar with Newmar, this is the best driving coach on the market, mostly because of the steering effort option. What that does is it keeps you center on the road. So it's not only a safety feature, it helps you not be so exhausted at the end of the day of driving. These are a little bit more white knuckle to drive because they're so large, and there's a lot at stake in a almost 44-foot long motorhome. You don't want to be blown around on the road. You don't want the divots to be guiding you, and that's what this comfort drive steering does for you. It takes over so you don't have to be, white knuckling down the road. This is such an easy coach to drive. The turning radius is unbelievable. When I tell people when we're on a test drive, take it a little tighter than you think, and they can't believe how tight of a turn they can take. This is one of those things it's very hard for me to describe. I drive all of the coaches that come in here, all of the brands. We get them all traded, and some of them, even though they are much, much shorter, are much harder to drive, much lower turning radius. Whereas the Newmar, it's just a breeze. I can literally drive with one finger and not be stressed out. This is my favorite coach to drive that we have here, and we have Class Bs all the way to 45-foot buses here. So if you can get to a place where you can test drive this, please do, because it makes a huge difference in the comfort and relaxationableness, I made that word up if you couldn't tell, of your vacation. So love, love, love these. Happen to really love a Freightliner, and one of the reasons is that we have your shifter right here on the steering column. So if I want to put it in drive, I just flick that right up. If I want to put it in reverse, I'm going to flick it down. I also have the ability to shift into manual by just pushing a button here, or automatic. I can let it shift automatically. We do have a 6-speed Allison 3000 transmission here. Engine brake is also already integrated. So I can turn my engine brake completely off. I can turn it to low, medium, high by just clicking. So I can do that on the fly and not have to worry about finding the button over here. I really appreciate that. Up here, we've got some basics. Your visor in the very front is powered, so I can put that down if the sun's getting in my eyes, or my full darkening shade also. My docking lights are on a button here. My overhead fans, which are mostly for defrosting, but they actually feel really great. when it's really a lot of sun coming in here too. We've got high, medium, low for the hydronic heating system. If you have that on, can come out in the vents that are down below here and at the foot well there. Your fans, high, medium, low. I can also start and stop my generator from this button. Entry lock, air horn on or off. So that's if you want to sound like a truck. You can have the air horn on. If you're in a more of a residential area, you can make it a little quieter. We also have courtesy lights to get through the back area. Right here, you'll see obviously we have our rear view camera on right now. Now, if I were to turn my turn signals on, it would auto-populate to the side of the coach. And then on this screen here, we have the navigation pulled up right now. We also have the ability to do Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, things like that, or I could also control camera from here as well. So I do have an integrated 360-degree camera here, and I can change the view. If this sticker wasn't here, you'd be able to see it a little better, but it basically looks like there's a drone flying above you that can keep an eye on the 360 degrees around the camera there. Or change it to this side or that. We also have collision mitigation. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. But that's going to alarm you if you're getting too close to the car in front of you when you're in cruise control. So that's what that little black panel is up on the front there. And just a couple things on the way out. We have an integrated screen on this entry door here. That makes it really nice to be able to look through when you're going down the road, a little safer to be able to see out when you're driving. We also have an added navigation screen here for the passenger. They can really be helpful in this situation. When you're going down the road, they can actually type in where you're trying to get to, so you don't have to stop, pull over, put that in, or way worse, search for it while you're actually driving. That would be terrible. So this person can do that for you. They can also change the radio or what you're listening to from there as well. And then there's that charging station for their phone. There is an electric step cover that covers the space that I'm standing in right now, so that it's a flat floor like a home when you do deploy that. And it's really nice for, you know, this person to not feel like their feet are dangling or like your dog is going to fall down the steps when you're driving. So that's a really nice thing to have there as well. All right. Bring my notes here. Real quick before you step down, I want you to see that there is huge storage under here as well. So this is a great place to put your umbrellas, your flip-flops, your dog leash, things like that. And these are made of that Corian or solid surface material there. All right, as promised, gorgeous awnings. So what's so special about these awnings? They're called the Girard Nova. Girard is the brand. Nova is that they come down in 2 stages. It really makes a beautiful atmosphere hanging out here if you're tailgating or just hanging out. Really, really nice thing. This was a substantial upgrade on this coach. We also have an awning that's just for this door here, and then we have window awnings scattered around that you'll see as well. So that's an individual awning. It's controlled separately, as well as this door one is as well. Love this paint job on this. This happens to be my favorite color of paint. A really beautiful metallic cherry, and then we've got some gray and black on here. Not too much black, a little harder to keep it clean, but enough to give it a really good look. We also did the Onyx blackout package, which means this is going to be black. This, instead of the silver steel look, it's going to be black. We've got black trim, black steps, and blacked out American Racing wheels put on there. It really gives a cool look. And instead of the steel along the bottom here, we have the blackout steel. So really cool looking. We also have your Michelin tires. These are big guys, 22.5s, all the way around. Newmar does not skimp on tires or anything safety related for that matter. We have dual fill for our our diesel here. This is a 150-gallon tank. We do have DEF on here as well, 15 gallons, but we'll get to that in just a minute. All right, first bay door, we have a programmable fridge freezer, and this comes out really far for the reason that if your slide was out, you'd still be able to access this. As I said before, this is programmable. That means you can make one side a fridge, one side a freezer, vice versa, all a freezer, all a fridge, whatever it is that you're wanting to do with this, just depending on the occasion, you've got the ability to do that. And then on a really nice slide out tray, there used to not be a shelf here. I'm really glad that Newmar added that because this was truly wasted space. So now you've got the ability to put some extra stuff up there. Newmar also greatly improved their bay doors. They're much easier to close. They still seal very, very well and keep dust and debris out, but a little bit easier to get shut. And then out here we have another Samsung flat screen TV with a Bose soundbar. That makes 6 for this coach, 6 TVs. You're going to be entertained. This can be pulled out and moved to a spot that you can see it a little bit better. We also have USBs and 110 outlet back here as well. All right. Here we have an empty bay. This places to put your stuff. You can see the chassis rail there. And something that Newmar does is add what they call the star foundation. That's a structural thing that they add on here. They weld it to the frame, to the chassis rail, and you'll notice your floor rails are lifted. That's going to help with noise, vibration, tiles breaking, things like that. It keeps the whole star foundation is for stability, bending, twisting, things like that. It's really going to give you a much better ride and keep your house portion intact. So the more that a coach is able to flex and bend, twist, it's going to be messing with your cabinet alignment, with your tiles popping out. There's just a lot of problems that come with it, but just imagine the whole idea of this being in an earthquake every day. That's helping to eliminate a lot of that by having a really well-engineered structure underneath. All right, this bay has a manual tray. Now you can always add more trays, but some people don't want all trays in all the bays. So, hey, that rhymes. This one just has the one here. And like I said, you can add more, but the reason you wouldn't want a tray is because it takes up a little bit of height. So you wouldn't be able to put some taller items. The reason you do want it is so you can reach the things that are in the middle of the coach. So I think at least one is a good idea. And then that's going to lock right back into place. It also goes out the other side the same amount of space, about 60%. Now this bay could have a tray as well, but it doesn't on this particular one. You could add it. We have some extra tiles in case you do happen to break one. We have a manual awning retract there if you happen to have a problem with an awning. We've got 110 back here. And this is the place that your vacuum all goes to. So your bag is going to be changed here. You also can vacuum from here by putting the hose into that little slot there. So you can vacuum out your bay if it gets messy. Now this used to be a pegboard. There's a big water tank back there, so there's not a lot of usable space, but Newmar used to put a little pegboard so you could put some extra fluids or hang tools. But I actually think this is a much more useful idea in that it's the brains of your electrical system. The reason this is so great is it's going to save you money at the mechanic because he knows exactly where everything is. This whole thing is completely labeled. This is your overhead seating lights, This is your kitchen ceiling. I mean, you know exactly what each of these is going to, so if you were to have a problem, it's a lot easier to pinpoint where that problem is and fix it from just removing this panel. So I love that they have that. New for $25. You'll notice that the slide here is in. This is your bed slide, but it's not sticking out here. The seals are also integrated inside here, so they seal really, really well. They're not problematic like, again, other brands just have problems in these areas. That's why I'm pointing these things out. All right, this is the other side of your emergency exit door. So you can see there is a ladder that comes down, but it's not that far if you were to really need to get out quickly and have to jump. It's a lot better than an emergency window, in my opinion. Here's your DEF tank. 15 gallons again. And then over here we have your engine starting batteries, or your chassis batteries. Your chassis disconnect is right here as well. So if you are not going to be using your coach for a while, you want to conserve that battery, definitely remember to turn that off. All right, back here we have a side radiator, so we can access our engine quite easily. So for those of you who are more hands-on, you want to be able to do some of these things yourself, you can actually get to your fuel filter and check your oil, your power steering fluid, your Oasis fluid. It's all right here. So you can change belts and all those things because you have that side radiator. Really, really nice. Save you money at the mechanic too. And then we have our 15,000 pound receiver, our 7-way pin if you need to plug in there, and our airline is already integrated here as well. All right, here's that side radiator. Nothing to look at, but it's just nice that it has it. The other side of your DEF fill here, so you can fill both of those at the same time. That function is even more handy with the diesel fuel because it can take quite a while to fill up 150 gallons. So you can have those both going at the same time and it'll go to the same tank and work for you. This is just a little storage place. You could put dirty gloves in there and things like that. It's rinsable. It has holes back there so you can get that cleaned out real good. Again, this is a steerable tag. That means it's going to follow you when you turn, and that's really going to enhance that turning radius for you. It's such a great drive in these. All right, this is your water bay. But you can see that we have an outside shower here. We've got a black tank rinse there, water pump. You can also turn on your auto fill, and this is where you're going to put your hose to dump through this little cavity here. This is your whole house water filter, and it's out right now because we are winterized, and also because this is a brand new coach. So that's going to be nice and clean when the person that purchases this. This is such a great function, auto rewind water hose. And what I mean by that is there's a button here and it'll just take it in for me. Really great when it's muddy and yucky or it's really cold because the hose itself gets really stiff. So that's going to take all that work for me. Now here is your 50 amp electrical cord, and it has the same function as that water hose did, but this button happens to be on the door, a little bit easier to reach. Love that it does that for me. You'll see that there are lights that come on when I open these doors. We also have our surge protector with transfer switch already integrated back there. And then down here, a place that you could hook up to cable at a park if you were wanting to do that. This is your Oasis system. Serves as your continuous hot water as well as your furnace in this coach. These are very clean burning, very low maintenance. So they only need to be serviced about once a year. and they work great. This is the other side of that slide out tray. As I explained, it does come out this side as well, about 60%, so you can reach the inside of your coach contents quite easily. Got one of those window awnings right here. So that is a separate awning from the other large awnings that are over there. I just think that's so handy because sometimes the sun's shining on the other side of your coach where you don't have your awning. So it's nice to have the window awnings as well. This is just an open bay here for storage. You will notice there is that felt carpeting down here as well. It's going to help with, again, shifting, vibration, noise. We also have insulation almost 3 inches thick underneath here, and the same above the above the chassis rail, but under the floor there. So we have almost another 3 inches there. Really going to keep this coach cool in the summer, hot in the winter. Keep it at the temperature you want. These bays are also going to be heated. If you're using that hydronic heating system that we just looked at, the Oasis, it'll keep this whole basement section heated up for you too, which is going to help for you to not freeze up your water tanks and things like that. This is obviously your battery bay, and this is your house batteries. This is a pull-out tray that is locked into place. So if you need to change those batteries out, you just unlock this, pull it out. It's very easy and convenient. The other side of that diesel fuel fill is right there. And then over here we have access to your generator and some of your wiring here as well. So again, this is a 10,000 Onan quiet diesel generator. Very easy to access. If you wanted to work on it, you can do that. You can also start it from here. And we've got a light in this compartment. We've got your air horns back here. Just a few things that you can check and service: windshield wiper fluid. And I just remembered the name of that collision mitigation. It's called On Guard, so forgive me for that. That's pretty much it for this coach. Gorgeous, very functional, great for people that need to sleep extra people. If I missed any specs, or if you want the exact spec sheet for this coach, I have it right here in my hand. I'm more than happy to get it to you. If this one doesn't suit you, we can order another one that's a better floor plan for your lifestyle. I'm happy to help you with anything that we've got going on here at Transwest. My name is Teresa Crawley, and I hope to provide you a very pressure-free and fun experience. Have a great day.